The CEO of Pinterest, Bill Ready, who's been sounding the alarm about artificial intelligence, how it could intensify the effects of social media on the mental health of children. Mr. Ready, thank you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Well, you really are sounding an alarm, comparing AI to big tobacco. Spell that out.
Well, it's social media, I think, has been compared to big tobacco. What I think a lot of people don't realize is that central to how social media became the new big tobacco is the use of AI in social media, and AI getting more and more control over the content that you see on social media. What used to be a platform to help you connect with friends increasingly has been less about what your friends are posting and more about the content that the AI thinks you should see. And that AI has figured out that the content that you should see is the things that make you watch for longer.
I assume this is something you know from experience. I assume Pinterest uses it, correct?
So we use AI as well, and I think that's why we see this as such an important issue, that the AI, it's not sentient, it does what you tell it to do. And so I think as there's a new, more powerful generation of AI coming into the view of the consumer, it's really important that we have a discussion about what that AI is being asked to do. Is it being asked to maximize your view time, in which case it may continue serving things that are more divisive, more salacious, just for the sake of getting you engaged? Or are we asking it to serve more things that are leading to positive outcomes? And that's really where our focus is, and sort of the call to action that we're making for ourselves and hopefully for the industry is that AI and social media for this next decade, instead of it being more of the new big tobacco, can AI lead to more positive outcomes and well-being?
So are you already doing that?
So that's absolutely the commitment that we have, is to lead to more positive outcomes on well-being. And interestingly, for a lot of this discussion, the discussion has been that, well, this is just human nature. The social media platforms are just reflecting human nature. But in reality, AI has been amplifying sort of the darkest aspects of human nature, sort of preying upon basest instincts. And what we want to do is make a platform that appeals to the better angels of our nature.
So how do you do that?
So, well, it's really tuning for positivity, telling the AI that instead of maximizing view time, that you're asking it to show things that are going to make people feel good, and then measuring for those outcomes. And so we've been doing that sort of quietly and humbly for some time, but we're proving out that it's possible to build for different outcomes.
Well, that's going to get to my next question. Isn't minimizing time on the app going to minimize profits?
Well, I think this is part of the issue, is that, so up to this point, I think a lot of the motive has been around just maximizing view time, versus if you maximize for positive outcomes, there are other positive outcomes. When people come to Pinterest, they come to Pinterest to make, to do, to buy, to create. It's a creative outlet for many. And I think that there are other positive outcomes other than just keeping people glued to a screen.
Like?
So, like engaging in things that make your real life better, whether it's redesigning a room or putting together a great outfit that's going to make you walk a little taller.
So my girls do on Pinterest, yes.
That's right, that's right. And I think this is one of the most important societal issues of our time. I think we've all felt the experience of what has happened to social media over the last decade, where it's literally started to tear at the fabric of society. And so as we have this next generation of much more powerful AI, I think every person should be asking, well, what's the AI being tuned to do?
So many of us were creeped out last week when we all saw that story about how the AI started to say you're not in love with your wife to the guy who kept asking questions. How do you prevent something like that? What kind of guardrails can be put in?
Well, I think first and foremost, we need to stop talking about tactics and start measuring on outcomes. What are the outcomes on well-being, on mental health that's happening by time spent on these platforms? And as part of this, we're releasing some research that we did with UC Berkeley that actually shows that providing inspirational content can lead to more positive outcomes. So much of the conversation has been about the negative outcomes of rising anxiety, rising depression. We don't have to accept that. More positive outcomes are possible. We got there intentionally by tuning for that, by tuning the AI to those positive outcomes. And so that's really our message, is to say, one, we think we need to measure on outcomes. Consumers ought to know they have a choice. Consumers have had less and less choice over what they view as AI has taken more control. But we can tune that AI for more positive outcomes. Those are possible. We're not perfect. We're far from it. But I think this is a start in showing that different outcomes are possible if we tune the AI for that. That's the commitment that we're making, and we think consumers deserve more of that choice.
Bill Ready, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.